Where does the right go from here? The sputtering and splintering of the conservative movement is too big to ignore. We need a quick huddle and a strategy. What comes next? Here's the point. As we head into 2026, we need to regroup and rethink our strategy as conservatives. It is very clear that there has been quite a bit of spinning, splintering, and sputtering in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder in the 2025 elections and all the hyperbolic focus on the whodunit conspiracy theories. What we've learned is that you can, in fact, lose a coalition faster than you can build one. And winning elections is not the same as winning the nation. We need to do both. But for decades, the left knew this strategy and they played it well. They marched through the institutions. They held the levers of power. They opened up the floodgates to mass immigration, not just of foreign-born individuals who wanted to adopt Western values and assimilate to the American way of life, but they literally flooded the nation with those who intended to do America real harm by co-opting and hijacking our laws, customs, and culture. Just look at Dearborn, Michigan, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and now New York City. The United States currently has more than 50 million foreign-born people with no previous ties to this country, our values, or our way of life. That was not done by accident. That was an intentional subversion and an inside job. The left built their political future not just through persuasion, but through infiltration and replacement. They understood that if you change who lives here, you change who votes here. And if you change who votes here, you change what kind of country this is. But conservatives know something that the left has forgotten. The two most essential culture-making institutions, the family and the church, are not so easily co-opted. The left cannot maintain marriage, and every church it co-ops goes to die. In order to win a nation, we must build the nation we envision. That means raising children who love God, love marriage, love life, and of course, love this nation. So where does the right go from here, especially as we enter 2026? First, we need to rediscover what it actually means to be an American. American identity has always been rooted in something deeper than legal or political philosophy. That is the identity that the secular liberals wanted to present us when they were hollowing out America's Christian identity and heritage in their post-war consensus that told everyone secular liberalism and not Christianity had defeated the Axis powers of World War II. American identity had always been rooted in the founding faith that made America great, Christianity, and to acknowledge what Dennis Prager, a practicing Jew, had said so well. It wasn't just any expression of Christianity. It was Protestant Christianity. American identity is not an empty vessel that can be filled with any ideology or culture and expect the same result. Our American belief in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness sprang up from 2,000 years of Western civilization, dominated by common Christian commitments and understandings of life and truth. Self-evident truths are not self-evident in every geography, every culture, or every people group. They are self-evident among the moral and religious that are required to understand them. You cannot have American freedom without a Christian understanding of human nature, limited government, due process, habeas corpus, and personal responsibility before the living God. And a 250-year-old legal document alone does not protect American identity or American freedom. Only an American people who commonly embrace these shared beliefs under God can do so. Liberia has the same founding documents as America, and Liberia is by no means close to being American. Second, we need to understand what time it is. We're not living in a normal political moment. This is not business as usual. We are battling for the soul and future of our nation. The left did not stumble into cultural dominance by accident. They pursued it methodically through education, media, entertainment, and government bureaucracy for more than half a century. They understood that politics is downstream from culture, and they acted accordingly. More recently, the left has been militant in their pursuits. They have used the levers of political power since 2008 to enforce the standards they envisioned. They worked to fundamentally transform America. And since 2013, they have attempted to pit their legal definition of marriage divorced from biological reality against Christianity, which is the founder and defender of traditional marriage. They have also rhetorically used violence as speech and speech as violence to boycott, divest, sanction, cancel, intimidate, and at times unalive their political opponents. Their demagoguery has largely stuck and has been successful because they control the institutions that control the information. They own the media. Conservatives need to understand the brutal realities of street brawling politics and also the long-term strategy of building and preserving. Christians will understand this as Nehemiah did. It takes a sword and a trowel. Western civilization needs defending, and walls are the best protection. Winning the nation requires the real work of reclaiming institutions, rebuilding civil society, and reasserting stubborn facts into the public square. This is a moment that demands urgency but not panic, conviction without compromise. Christians must engage culture not as individualistic automatons, but as a unified front who have a shared understanding that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. You cannot help the oldest generation by robbing the youngest. We need a shared vision and selfless play to win the real political prize, an American nation for the American people. Third, we need a strategy that makes a habit of winning the country we envision. The left strategy was simple: march through the institutions, hold the levers of political power, open the border, change the population, you change the nation. The right strategy should be even simpler. Build strong families, build strong churches, recapture the institutions, and pursue true American greatness. But what does this look like practically? We need an environment that is conducive for family making. We need policies that reward the outcome we want and need. Families made up of a husband and wife who can thrive on a single income. We need educational policy that empowers parents. We need to promote and defend religious liberty so Christian parents can raise their children in the faith once for all delivered to the saints, free from government intrusion or interference. We must commit to building the country we want to see, even incrementally, right where we are. Government needs to punish bad behavior and reward the behavior we want. Christians should marry, have children, raise them in the fear and the admonition of the Lord, build strong churches, support Christian schools, create businesses that promote and reflect biblical values, engage your local community, run for school board, run for local office, and absolutely vote in every election. The right should absolutely run on these ideas and promote these ideas. The right needs a bigger vision of our nation than what this divided conservative movement can currently produce. The pathway forward is about winning the culture and the nation, not just the next election. The question is whether we will have the strength, determination, courage, and focus to carry this movement forward, undiscouraged, undistracted, and undeterred. We must be hopeful and remain ever faithful. Remember that our nation is not yet lost as long as God is not finished with his people. Our work here is not done. We must do what is right because this is our moment, and God is by no means finished with this nation.